You know what? It's almost that time of the year when we stopped doing top 10 lists, and I didn't this week. I made a top 15 list. I had to, because we have a number of horses that won qualifiers. We had a number, like World for Two come 27-1. By the way, that quarter of World for Two of 27-1 was the fastest last quarter of the day. James subsequently had the second fastest quarter of the day, and I believe those two horses, I forget the other name of the other horse James won. It wasn't our horse. Those two horses were the only horses today to come sub 28 second quarters. If I'm not mistaken, I look quick, but I'm pretty sure there was only two. Ours was the fastest. James, it might have been Nick Galucci. I'm not sure. Anyway, we had the fastest last quarter of the day. I'm out 58-4. That horse looked good. Now, I have been fielding a number of emails of people saying, when's he going to Pennsylvania? Who's going to get him in Pennsylvania? No one. That's who's going to get him in Pennsylvania. I am not sending this horse to Pennsylvania for quite a while. There's nothing but killers waiting for him there. And if you knew the horse, this is a horse we protected. We protected this horse in February and March, and really didn't train him for a good 4-week span. Had flip-flops on him all winter. Hey. Have been very, very... Hi. Love you. I've been very, very careful. Hey, Addie. Been very, very careful with this colt, and will continue to be careful. So you're not going to see World for Two. Shh. What? Oh, you're right. I do have your CC. Oh, I just got yelled at by a toddler. So World for Two. We'll get right back to it. There you go, CC. What do you say? No, I'm not giving you Baba too. So World for Two, this is what I've had to deal with all day. So World for Two will not be going to Pennsylvania anytime soon. World for Two is staying put and will race under Mario throughout the summer, for most of the summer. Now, if he starts pacing 53, 54, and Mario says, hey, this thing's a killer, then yeah, we'll look at Pennsylvania. Thank you. But for right now, I'm going to keep him right there in Ontario. Mohawk, Georgian, wherever. I even said to Mario today, hey, that's enough, please. I even said to Mario today that, maybe Georgian is the place to go first with him. Ollie, could you let her play with that, please, for a second, honey?
Here, this isn't it.
There you go.
Daddy, have it.
So, we'll continue with my disrupted list now. So World for Two, I kind of dropped my pants there. He is on the list. He's not number 15. He comes in a little bit shorter. But as I said, fastest last quarter of the day, great mile. For those of you out there thinking about buying shares off of thestable.ca, no problem, go ahead. But he is not going to the United States of America for quite a while. And if he didn't race at all in the U.S., it wouldn't bother me. He's got I just remember the name of the stake. He's got the Dream Maker stake. He can race in that. And the non-winners of 1 and 2 go for 15, 17, 18, 20,000, which is what the Stallion Series would go. So the only reason we would say, hey, he should go to Pennsylvania is if he comes out and just blows the doors off him and looks like a killer, and Mary says, hey, this is a really, really good horse. Okay, then we can switch gears and change the conversation. But for now, I'm still in full-on protection mode of World for Two. He's staying right where he is. They've done a great job with him, and there is no need for him to leave. So we will begin the list at number 15. Number 15 is a horse that has been on and off my radar since the day I laid eyes on him. He's a nice trotter, done his work really, really well, but yesterday in the mud, nonetheless, he looked very good. Now, I did notice Johnny had told me that he gets over on the left shaft a bit, finishing up his mile, and he did that on James. James threw a pylon with him. James, no stranger to pylons, ended up inside a pylon or two with Resolute Bay. This colt looked good. 2-2-1 last quarter, and 29-2 last half, 59 apiece. He looked the part. He looked really, really good. So very impressed. Do you want to go home, or do you want to go right to Bob Evans? We all look like bums. Well, you guys do. I'll just tell everybody I picked you up on the side of the road. Picked this poor family up. I just saw them walking down the side of the road with no shoes on and picked them up. So we went from Pennsylvania. We trained horses all morning. I got off the track at 5-1 from training in the race bike. We'll talk about those later on. I had 6 horses to train in the race bike, and also one other one to train. We'll talk about them after, but for right now, we're heading to Bob Evans. I'm on number 15. His name is Resolute Bay, and he he qualified very, very good yesterday. Impressed with this chestnut colt. He looked good. Looked really, really good yesterday. Number 14 is my filly, Grace. Not my filly anymore. Somebody had bought shares in her. I think we're down. Somebody bought 7 or 8 shares of her. Grace looked very good. James said, just the sweetest filly. You can do whatever you want with her. Leave, finish. Now, obviously, we're not going to go out on a limb and say, oh, she's a gold filly. No, that would be ridiculous. But she's very, very handy. Very, very nice filly. Did her work very, very well. Yesterday, 2-2 last quarter and 29. This is a filly that come her first start last quarter, 27-4. Followed it up with a victory in 2-2-1 in the mud. Looked good. Grace, our girl Grace, comes in at number 14. Number 13 is a filly that just arrived here. We trained her a doubleheader today. She is not a doubleheader. I don't do that. Trained 2 trips. She is going to the Meadows on Tuesday with your horse. Tie One On is her name. She looked good today. Jason said maybe line pull outside. I don't know. So we'll see. But other than that, we didn't put her in the race bike, obviously, because she's qualifying in 3 days. Jason was like, we'll go 2 trips. They went the first trip slow, and I said, hey, this filly's going back Tuesday. Just go out and go a mile and 25 with her again. So she got 2 little very, very easy trips. Good tightener for her on Tuesday. Tie One On will hit the Meadows surface Tuesday morning. Number 12. Where's number 12? Number 12, Blue Bayou Dio. I love this filly. And if you want a qualifier, you should be on this list. And if I missed somebody, I apologize, because there's at least one horse on here that did not win a qualifier but made the list simply because he's very, very talented. So, Blue Bayou Dio did win her qualifier in 2-2 in the mud. She also looked very good. Not without her like Sylvain said, she ran out leaving the gate. James said maybe a line pull outside also. I said, fine, that's no problem. Go ahead and do what you want. We'll probably go and race her a couple of times at Mohawk. Here's another filly that unless she wows us right out... Hey, stop. Unless she wows us right out of the gate, not really in a big hurry to get her to New Jersey. Keep in mind, this is a filly that's dual eligible. She's eligible to Lexington also. So Blue Bayou Dio qualified well, comes in at number 12, lots to offer, fast, and ran down the leader. Gotta like winners, and she was a winner yesterday. Number 11, Purple Aura. Now this is how deep this is how deep my list is. Purple Aura was winner in 2 minutes and 4/5 last week when everybody was going their first trips, and she still comes in at number 11. That's just because this list is my list, and I'll put her where I want. Number 11, Purple Aura. She's racing on Wednesday. This is a filly that has lots and lots and lots of speed to offer us for the entire summer. I trained her today, a mile in 2:7, 2:6. She's racing on Wednesday. I thought she was very good, and coming into the race, very, very good. So, Purple Aura, number 11 on my list. Number 10, the top 10's been cracked, and it's Unbeatable Kemp. This horse made a break in his first qualifier. But is coming in sharp as a tack. I trained him today a mile and a half. Last half, pretty quick in the jog cart. So, and he looked good. This colt, I wanted to get him over a 5/8. I wanted to get him over the Meadows and see how good he is, see what he can offer over there, and then make a decision on him. This is a horse, I would say, a better than good chance he's going to end up in New Jersey for the New Jersey Sire Stakes. If you would have pressed me last week, I would have said maybe Blue Bayou Dio, maybe Unbeatable Kemp. But I don't think there's anybody else. Duke Dio's not physically ready. He's fast, but he's not physically ready to...
I don't think he was letting you go.
Yeah, he was flashing his lights, but he didn't see that guy coming up the inside. But I did. Sharper than the average bear. Unbeatable Kemp qualified poorly. A little hot, made a break, but it was a speed break. You could tell he's loaded and was going to trot in 58 probably. Trained great today. Coming into the qualifier Tuesday, he's sharp. And he's going to the Meadows with Tie One On. We were going to take... Who's the other horse we were going to take?
Dean.
Amor Diener. We'll talk about him in a minute. He will not be going to the Meadows on Tuesday. I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you what we found. But more importantly, I'll tell you how good he trained today. But he did not make my top 15 list. Unbeatable Kemp, the only non-winner on this list, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But he comes in at number 10. Number 9. Ava, Arlie, stop. Number 9, World 4-2. Okay, Ava, that's fine. World for Two comes in at number 9. This horse could be put anywhere on this list. He looks so good today. Mario and his guys have done a great job with this horse. I wanted him protected through March and April. We did. Had flip-flops on him. I believe he doesn't have them on anymore. But man, oh man, he looked good today. 27-1, fastest last quarter of the entire day. 58-4. There's a long way for this horse to go, but he's well on his way, and he looks some kind of good today. Number 8, Massive Profit. This horse didn't win super fast, but I know. Hey, get your dirty feet down and close the door, you. Number 8 is a horse that I told you guys about a long time ago. A horse that I think is very, very fast. His name is Massive Profit. He caught even. I know Irv Miller was watching the qualifiers last week and asked about that. Ollie, get your feet down, please. Number 8 is Massive Profit. As I said, Irv saw him last week, thought he looked good. Anybody that watched closely realized this horse looked professional. He looked great, and I was so impressed with him on last Thursday. Trained him up a stiff doubleheader today, a stiff 1.5 miles today. He's racing on Monday. I do want to take his blood on Monday. A couple of horses were a little picky with their food today. This guy didn't seem as powerful training. It could have been nothing. It could have been something. But we're going to find out. Can somebody close that door, please? That one right there. Number 7, Confederate Cruiser. There's going to be a lot of people say, how is this horse, a horse that went in 56-4, your fastest pacer to date, coming in at number 7? Because he is. He's a nice colt, did his work very, very well, and I really like him. I think he's got a very bright future. But keep in mind, I'm not going to super tax this horse and ask him for speed and bottom him out whenever we can. He's got the rail on Wednesday, and he may be Procrastinator on Wednesday. I wouldn't be surprised either way. But Procrastinator's a bigger, stronger colt, and if you're going to say the top out for both of them, I would say Procrastinator, if he can stay sound. His ceiling appears to be higher. This colt is quick and fast. Confederate Cruiser, quick and fast on his feet, and uses his speed very well. But is he winning 56-4? Is he ready to go in 54? No, I don't think he is. I think he's ready to go back in 56, and I'm not going to ask him to do that again unless we have to. And I hope we don't have to on Wednesday. So number 7, Confederate Cruiser. Number 6, Renegade Gypsy. Ollie, get your shoes on and get out, bud. Number 6, Renegade Gypsy. This horse could have, and maybe should have, come in a little shorter today. Ollie, out. A little shorter today. Renegade Gypsy was very good. Drawing off winner, 2 minutes last quarter in 28-3. Another horse Mario's done a great job with Renegade Gypsy. Man, we've always said this horse looks the part. He's getting there, right? He's not a 56 or 57 mile, but he is getting there, and he looks good. If you knew how big, Ollie, out. All right, thank you. Number 6, Renegade Gypsy, belongs at least number 6, and I suspect you're going to see more speed and more speed and more speed and more speed come from him as the summer goes on. Good news is this is a colt that really has never had any issues of any kind. Took him to the vet, nothing really to talk about. Even as big as he is, he's still been very, very sound and very, very strong. So hoping, praying for big things from Renegade Gypsy. Number 5, Procrastinator. I could have flip-flopped these two colts, I suppose. Procrastinator won both his qualifiers, though, and looked impressive the other day. 57, somebody said, well, he didn't go as fast as Confederate Cruiser. Okay, there's no problem. I like both colts. I think they're very, 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 very good colts. Hey! Both ways. I think they're both very, very good colts. I just watched you run across the parking lot, and you did not look both ways. Do you want to get hit by a car? Look both ways, please. That's how I roll. So, number 5, Procrastinator. He looked exceptionally good, but you can tell on the front end, he's not used to being on the front end. He's a hunter. Has always been a hunter. From the time we trained him, he'd always follow and race with horses on the front end. That's French to him. He doesn't understand it. And I put him there twice because there was nobody around, and he just was strong the other day. I would love to see him, a horse cut out a mile in front of him, get to Scioto. But as I said, we couldn't go to Scioto. I wasn't going to gamble the opportunity to race these two colts on the opportunity to race in Scioto. Maybe only one would get in. Maybe the class didn't fill. But those two horses had to get in at Northfield for the class to go. And if If we entered them both, the class would go. So that is why they're both in together. I'm going to drive Procrastinator from post 7, but make no mistake, the other little horse is just a sweetheart. He doesn't do anything wrong at all. He is a push-button, beautiful little 2-year-old. I love Confederate Cruiser, but I'm putting Procrastinator at number 5. Number 4, this horse belonged here. Everybody that's ever gone with him talked about how good he was. I went with him a few times, thought he was really good. The reason I put him at 4 wasn't just the fact that he qualified so well. It's under what circumstances he did. So Prairie Fire, when we came in the other day, had a cut over his eye. Could have been stitched. The vet came and said, I can't stitch it until around 1:30, 2 o'clock. Now, it wasn't in a bad place. You know, I watched a lot of the UFC. It would have been right where Nate Diaz would get his cut over his eye. So the vet said, well, you're all right to qualify him. I said, really? He said, yeah, you'll be fine. Okay. His name's Prairie Fire. So he had a cut over his eye. He had a cut in his ankle. He must have got cast or something. But he was fine. Not only was that, the blacksmith came the day before, and I had told you that he touched his elbows the week before. He had heavy trotting shoes on and long toes. So for those of you that are horsemen out there, this is a 2-year-old trotting colt that had at least an inch or more of toe chopped off of him. Removed a 5/8 trotting shoe from his feet. Put a full swedge on. So not only was he shod the day before, he chopped all the toes off him, put a full swedge from a 5/8 on him. Then got up the next day at some point during the night, cut over his eye and cut his ankle. I said, we'll jog him and see how he seems. Warmed up okay. Yeah, just went out and run off 159 and 2. Luke said, this thing's a killer. My God, he can trot. And he didn't know. I didn't bother going through the whole story of what that horse had just gone through. But make no mistake, Prairie Fire's a killer. He's got 6 staples, little staples over his eye now. He looks like he went 3 rounds with Floyd Mayweather. But tough. That's the focus. That's the determination of these horses. And Prairie Fire just was... You can't not respect a horse. You know, why is he number 4? You can't not respect, 1, the mile he went, and 2, the circumstances in which he went it. I mean, it was just incredible. So Prairie Fire is in at number 4. Obviously, I'm a little biased, and I put my girl, Of Tom, at 3. Tell me why I shouldn't have. Maybe because she was number 1 or 2. She could have been 2, but she's at number 3. And Of Tom, 16-length winner. You get 2-year-olds, especially with that big, long, loafy gait, you get them off by themselves. Sometimes they just go to sleep, and it's really hard. I wasn't going to pick at her the whole way to go a mile and 59, but I told Amy before I went on the track, I'd like to go a mile and 59 with this filly today. She just played. She's got the nicest, and I said this, and I can't, every time I say it, I rack my brain. I don't think I've ever seen a more beautiful, flawless, absolutely perfect gait than Of Tom. She floats over the ground. Just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gait. She comes in at number 3, and she could have come in at number 2, and I'm biased of him also, Voyage of Ice and Fire. He's in to go Sunday. I know a lot of people are like, he's in with 3-year-olds. That's where I want him. I want him tested. In 12 days, he's got a race for a lot of money against a lot of people that want to win. And everybody's like, well, there's races after the next generation. Yeah, but it would help to win it, too. That would be nice. We don't take anything for granted at this stable, not the next generation or any of the golds or the fairs or anything else. We're here to race. And Voyage of Ice and Fire qualified great. I fully expect him to go out and win or at least be close in 158 or so on Sunday evening at Northfield Park. And I expect the same from Massive Profit and Purple Aura. You know, I expect them to go out and do well. And I hope that Voyage of Ice and Fire will. Number 3 was Of Tom. Number 2, Voyage of Ice and Fire, simply because same thing. Very nice horse, a lot to offer this stable, and I cannot wait to get racing him. Number 1, if you haven't figured it out, then I guess you weren't watching the qualifiers the other day. For those of you who thought maybe I was wrong when I said in February that Bomb Hugger felt like she could qualify tomorrow and that I really didn't need to ever go with her again until June, well, I finally went with her again. And 2-year-olds don't do that. 2-year-olds don't float over to the front on a half-mile track, loaf along the half in 1-1, and then turn them on and trot as hard as they can for the better part of 3/8 of a mile or more. Last half in 56 and 4, last quarter in 28 seconds flat on a half-mile track. Not many 2-year-olds do that. Not trotters. Not that I've seen. In fact, I would bet there hasn't been one 2-year-old come a quarter in 28 flat here. No, I don't even know if there was one in Ontario. I'm sure there's somebody. It had to be. 28 flat, wrapped up. Bomb Hugger's no joke. I told everybody she was a killer back in February. I said, I just don't see how this filly can't be a nice horse. And listen, we're going into a foreign jurisdiction. We're going into New York. I haven't watched any of the Chapter 7s or any of the other New York breds. Maybe Marcus Melander or somebody's got a killer in New Jersey or Yonkers or somewhere. I have no idea. But it's going to take a killer to make this horse look inferior. She is fast. The thing I love about her, too, that I never noticed till the other day when I went with her, just put her nose on the gate, just chirp her coming out of the gate, and she'll cross right over. And just put her right in park if you want. She's the perfect horse. The perfect horse to race. You look at her in the cross ties or in the stall, you wouldn't think that line matched that horse. She's a fast horse. Very, very fast horse and very nice filly. We have got, on this list of 15, 14 of them have won qualifiers already. And there's at least another 10 or so that are very talented and look great. But man, oh man, Bomb Hugger's a standout for me. I love Of Tom. I love Voyage of Ice and Fire. Renegade Gypsy's fantastic. The Pacers 56, 57. All these horses show speed, but not like that. Not that racehorse killer, drop the hammer and mean it type speed. Bomb Hugger does, and I hope she keeps that forever. She has got pretty good breeding behind her. Obviously, we purchased her number 5 on day 1 in Lexington. We were very lucky together to get her. I had said that I thought she'd bring that, right, what she brought, because she wasn't big. She was a small filly, and with, you watch her walk around the back ring at Lexington with those big beasts on day 1, she looked like a mascot. But she wasn't, and we're lucky to have her. Very fortunate, and I cannot wait. Now, here's the plan with Bomb Hugger. I know that Mary and a lot of our clients are like, well, you have to send her there 4 or 5, maybe a couple of weeks to get acclimated. No, she's going there 3 or 4 days before the race. I'm going to fly down and race her in Saratoga, and then she's coming back to Northfield Park. And we'll send her down to Buffalo, which is 2.5 hours from Northfield Park. We'll send her there to race on race day. Maybe the day before, but not any closer. At that point, we'll make a decision where she's going to go. I talked to my brother Mark, who's very good friends and works with Ray Schnicker, great horseman. Well, I assume, or absolutely will be if he isn't, but probably is already, Hall of Famer here, had world-class horses. And I said to Mark, I sent him the line, I said, this is a filly I've been telling you about since March. He said, wow, that's a good line. I said, I'm going to race her in Saratoga, I'm going to race her in Buffalo, and then at that point, if you guys want her, I'll send her on her way. So that's the plan for Bomb Hugger. I'll fly and race her in Saratoga with Mark and Melissa Beckwith. I'll race her in Buffalo. I don't know who we'll send her to yet. I doubt Jason wants to get his trainer's license for one stake, but he might. And if he wants to, he's more than welcome to. That'll be up to him. But most importantly, after that, we'll make a decision. I would say right now, knowing what I know, talking to Mark the way I did, probably Ray Schnicker and Mark will be a great place for that filly for the rest of the season when she heads to Vernon and Yonkers. And I really don't have time to chase her around all summer. Nor should I have to. So, very impressed with not only this top 15, but most definitely Bomb Hugger. These horses are really showing up in a big way, and just so pleased with the way things have worked out. Every year, you're always on pins and needles, right? You never know. Are they good? Are they not good? Are you going to have egg on your face all year? It's going to be tough to have egg on your face from what I just saw over the last week. And I'm biased. I'm here in Ohio. A lot of Ohio horses are on this list. But Renegade, Gypsy, even Blue Bayou Dio looks so good today. World for Two looked fantastic. Harry told me Tioga Sunshine come out of the race good. Mischievous Rose coming out 57. She was sick. She's coming back. For those of you worried about Arches Rainbow, she was turned out for a week to get that AST down, her liver down, and get her comfortable and happy. She's coming back next week. Everything is looking good. We had some bad luck, obviously, with a couple of horses, but at the same time, that's racing. You put enough horses under a barn, good things and bad things are going to happen. Hopefully, we get all the bad out of the way, and we can expand on the good. So that's my list, top 15, and I'll run through it really quick one more time for you. Number 15, Resolute Bay. Number 14, Grace. Number 13, Tie One On. Number 12, Blue Bayou Dio. Number 11, Purple Aura. Number 10, Unbeatable Kemp. Number 9, World for Two. Number 8, Massive Prophet. Number 7, Confederate Cruiser. Number 6, Renegade Gypsy. Number 5, Procrastinator. Number 4, Prairie Fire. Number 3 of Tom 2, Voyage of Ice and Fire. And number 1, you can argue with every other number, but there is no arguing with who number 1 is right now. Bomb Hugger, 58 flat last quarter and 28 flat last quarter and 56 and 4 on idle by herself, qualifying on Thursday. There is no doubt, as of this moment, who number 1 is. We'll talk to you all very soon. Take care. I hope you had a great weekend because we had a pretty good week. Take care.